clock is ticking. Kickoff is 1 hour away. And it's time for KVNU Game Day, sponsored by Alpine Home Medical, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, Les Olson Company, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, My Mattress, Elements Restaurant, Cache Valley Bank, Daryl's Appliance, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, Cache Valley Ear, Nose and Throat, White Pine Funeral Home, S.E. Needham Jewelers, Cache Valley Bank Mortgage, Castelite, and LSS Insurance. Now, to break down the game, here's the longtime voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis.
Well, Aggie fans, we really just can't take becoming bowl eligible last week with the victory over Hawaii as another ho-hum or we have done that before type of feeling. Because think about this, 124 seasons of USU football. We've only had 14 bowl game appearances in all of those years. But it is nice to see, after that COVID 1-5 2020 year and under new coach Blake Anderson, that this program has quickly gotten back to where we had started to feel like we needed to be recently. I loved how the coach and even the staff were expecting nothing else than this going into this year, and even what he said last Saturday.
Well, I just told him I'm super excited for him, but I never doubted that we would be bowl eligible. I really didn't. Watching this team work in the offseason, watching how they've progressed during fall camp, to me, I don't know if it's going to be pretty or ugly, but we're going to find a way. And this is, I want them to celebrate, but I don't want them to be satisfied by any means. That is not our goal. We want to keep getting better, and we want to make a run at this thing, and I think we put ourselves in a great position to do so. So, I'm excited for them, the fan base, but I just don't think there was ever a part of me that thought we'd do anything less.
As we talked last week before the Hawaii game, only 4 other FBS teams, Michigan State, Michigan, Baylor, and Northern Illinois, had better turnaround seasons going now than our Aggies. But now as we head to this month of November, 4-1 in the Mountain West. It's the 6th time in 9 years in this league we've won at least 4, but there's 3 more that we need to get before that December 4th game in the conference championship title game for the 2nd time. But we know the coach, again, and the team are not thinking of that at all. Remember Logan Bonner after the game last week when somebody said, hey, what do you think about bowl eligible and having a chance to win this conference title now? He said,
we got 4 games left. On to the next.
Yep, there it is. We got 4 games to go, and odds are on us. But, again, we try to be 1-0 and get better every single week. So we leave that drive for the title today. It'll be San Jose State next Saturday night. They announced that as an 8:30 game next Saturday night on FS1. But this will be the latest non-conference date on USU's schedule, except for the end-of-the-year BYU games 5 and 6 years ago. And it's the finish of a 2-game home-and-home series with New Mexico State, who's one of 6 independents in college football today at Aggie Memorial Stadium. About 80 degrees, supposed to be sunny and not a lot of wind down there. A small gathering in New Mexico anticipated today. I mean, I went down there numerous times over the years to games. But again, we had some many memorable moments down there, and we're going to talk about one of those with the great Emmett White game coming up. But, that atmosphere at the stadium was never because of the crowd that was there. And Blake Anderson is a guy who has been there. None of the Aggie players have. He can tell them what this is like.
I've been there a lot, to be honest with you, from Middle Tennessee to Lafayette to Southern Miss to Arkansas State. I don't know. I'm not sure I've played on the road at any place any more than I've played there. And what I've always noticed is a group that honestly just plays you very, very hard. It's not a great, easy trip. As I mentioned, it's a challenge. It's not just fly in and drive across town. You're on the bus for a while, coming out of El Paso. The wind can get bad on you and blow, make it a challenge. But the thing I think, and Doug does a great job of this, is his kids play hard, and they're going to play. They're used to playing, as underdogs a lot. They're not typically favored. They're okay with that. They're play from behind a lot. They're okay with that, and they'll throw the ball around on you. And if you're one tackle away from being behind real quickly.
The Doug he mentions, Doug Martin, the coach at New Mexico State, who said that this is his last year down there. But Aggies are big favorites for victory number 7 today. 4 wins in a row at this point, and it's the Aggies and Aggies. It's Flow TV where the game is. Now, through some of your TV suppliers, I guess you can get Flow TV. I also noticed through Utah State's Facebook page and through some of the Twitter pages, there's links to be able to get that game coming up at the bottom, at the top of the hour, that I hope you tech people can figure that out. But somebody's figured it out here in our building to be able to watch it, so we look forward to that coming up. Hi, everybody. It is Al Lewis with Craig Hislop for our Aggie Game Day coverage. We're only on KVNU today. The Fan has some other games and the Jazz game coming up later, so we'll do pregame right now, and then after the contest, we're hoping Ryan Bohm will be back with us. I know John Russell's going to join with us today because Eric Franson is away. We'll have Aggie Call right after the game as we get going again on our Game Day coverage of the Aggies here on KVNU. And we appreciate Les Olson Company as one of our sponsors of Game Day on KVNU. Les Olson Company, of course, is terrific as far as being a great supplier for businesses with all of their technical needs. Your IT network security is one thing right now they want you to get with Les Olson Security Suite. So lesolson.com for more details on that. And again, Craig, even the most optimistic of Aggies that we have among us after 1-5 last year, I would imagine just 3, at the most 4 victories through 8 games. But, you know, what's interesting is the Aggies leave their top status now in the Mountain West Division, or the Mountain Division of the Mountain West Conference, to go to Las Cruces today. I mean, there's some real positive history that could be happening for Blake Anderson's first team as an Aggie coach.
Well, this is the third time in the last 10 years the Aggies have gone 6-2 in the first 8 games of the season. That's one thing. If you look at the longer range perspective, it's a total of 3 times the last 43 years. This has happened in the 2012 and 2018 Aggie teams, which both went on to win 11 games, were 6-2. On their way to 11 victories. We hope that's a historical precedent that would work in this current team's favor. But you look at the Aggies' current schedule, I think it's fair to say the toughest part of it all is done. There are games left, and the most challenging among them is probably next Saturday at San Jose State. So it's not inconceivable that the 2021 Aggies might make a run at the records of those 2 earlier teams.
I think you're right. Now, leaving the Mountain West or any conference action this late in the schedule to play like a New Mexico State like they're playing today, other than playing BYU to finish 2015 and 16, hasn't happened in many years of Aggie football since they got involved in conferences. But like, we had the New Mags, it seems like they've kind of like joined the Mountain West Conference this year with who they played up until now to play, 6 games against conference teams.
Well, going back to 1985 to football in the Big West years through to 2012 in the WAC, we played these Aggies every single year. Remember when the Big West dropped football, we didn't join the Sun Belt right away, which made us an independent for 2001 and 2002. But we did play NMSU in 2002. But it amounts to 26 different seasons playing them as a conference opponent. Aggies were 15-1 against them in the Big West, split the games in the Sun Belt. Then the Aggies had a 6-2 edge against them in games in the WAC. So in the 30 conference games between these 2 schools, the Utah State Aggies won 26 and lost 4. And the overall series between the Northern and the Southern Aggies, with 39 games played, is 31-8 favor of Utah State. So the Aggies from Logan have won 16 of the 19 games played in the series in Las Cruces over the decades. But there's a little bit of irony in all these numbers because NMSU and USU have played each other twice in bowl games, and New Mexico State won both those games. They won the Sun Bowl in 1960 with Charlie Johnson as their quarterback. I remember that, and Merlin Olsen's team. And then the 2017 Arizona Bowl. They were both one-touchdown games. It's the 6th longest rivalry in Utah State football history, with memorable moments over the years, including one really unforgettable game 20 years ago, and in fact 20 years and 2 days ago, back in 2000. We're going to elaborate on that a little bit later in Game Day.
Yeah, we're looking forward to talking about that record-smashing NCAA performance. As we mentioned, Craig, New Mexico State 0-6 against our conference, 1-7 on the year so far. They lost home-and-home games to Hawaii, one in Las Cruces, 41-21. In the Islands 2 weeks ago, the last time they played, 49-34. They dropped a 28-10 game to San Diego State, 34-24 to New Mexico, 37-31 to San Diego State. That's the one that or San Jose State. That seems to be the one that has got Blake Anderson's most attention. And then 55-28 to Nevada. So the one thing you can see from this is they can score, but the problem is they're giving up quite a few points too.
And yeah, they just scored the 34 points in the last game against Hawaii. They averaged 24 a game. And Doug Martin, their head coach, in his 9th year, and I'm told his last year, he's told that to people, He's known for passing offenses, and he coached them, as you said, to that first bowl game in 51 years. And Jonah Johnson is their quarterback. He missed a game earlier. He's thrown for 240 yards a game. His favorite targets are Jared Wyatt with 37 catches and Isaiah Garcia Castañeda with 30 catches and 4 touchdowns. Their offensive line is one of the most experienced in the country. They have a guy at left tackle, Sage Dockstader, who will play his 50th game today, his 48th start.
He was a number 2 draft choice in the Canadian Football League, and they think he could be a third-day NFL draft choice as a lineman.
On defense, the number 1 playmaker is Chris Ojo. He's a 220-pound junior linebacker, transfer from Eastern Washington. Leads them with 44 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. They have 3 players in the secondary. Each have 2 interceptions, DJ McCullough, Cyrus Dumas, and Caleb Mills. Only 6 teams in the country have 3 defensive backs with 2 interceptions each. And I mentioned they scored 34 against Hawaii in their last game, but that was 2 weeks ago. They had an open date last Saturday, so they've got 7 extra days to get ready for Utah State.
And they think a couple of players who didn't play against Hawaii last time out, some of their better players might be able to get in. Now, the Aggies, of course, Craig, come off of statistically, you have to say their best overall game of the year, the way they beat Hawaii, 51-31. I mean, it wasn't a perfect game for sure, but it was pretty close to being about their best game start to finish.
Well, I remember how they got ahead 17-0, and next thing you look up and it's 41-10. It got a little out of hand after that, but the total offensive numbers, 564 yards. That's third most in one game in Utah State football history. 406 passing yards against Hawaii, the second most in one game ever. Logan Bonner threw 4 touchdown passes for the first time this year, was not intercepted, and that hasn't happened to him all year long. And how about Devin Tompkins? This time out, 7 catches, 176 yards, and in the process, he became the first Aggie in about 20 years to go over 1,000 career receiving yards. And also, El Elyon Noah ran for 111 yards, his first 100-yard game. And over on the defensive side, the leader this time was Byron Bonds. He had 2 sacks, a couple of tackles for loss. He forced a fumble. Plus, he tipped that pass that led to a Hawaii interception, stopping the Rainbows at the goal line. And overall, defensively, the Aggie defense held them to Hawaii to 12 yards rushing. That's 19th fewest yards by an Aggie defense ever, and Hawaii's 360 total yards is the second fewest given up by the Aggie defense this year.
And coming into this game, New Mexico State had their best rushing game at Hawaii. They ran for over 200 yards on the ground. So here's a challenge for the Aggie defense to do it again. But, you know, as you think back to the game, the kickoff return by Brandon Bowling on that onside kick of 45 yards, very unusual. Connor Coles goes 3 for 3. He's now 7 in a row field goals, only punted twice, so the special teams played there as well. But Coach Anderson?
Very frustrating style of offense. They are willing to sling it around from sideline to sideline. You know, 37-31 with San Jose, tied or within a 3-point game late in the game with Hawaii. Very comfortable to be in that environment. So the challenge this week for us is really just to continue to improve and travel well against an opponent that I would expect will be favored to beat, and that's an environment we haven't been in a lot. See how we handle it.
And what is it? The Aggies are 18 at the Northern Aggies, our Aggies, 18.5-point favorites for the game on Flow TV today. And I give you the challenge to try to find the Flow TV app to be able to find the game. But I know Aggie fans will do that. You know what? Somewhere on Twitter, somebody will have a link here pretty soon for people to be able to find that game for all the Aggie fans on Twitter. So here we go, Craig. What do you see today in this game for the Aggies to try to get win number 7? Like I said, I think it's only 26 times, or 24 or 26 times in Aggie history we've even had 7 wins in a season.
Well, obviously, not very many people in America are picking New Mexico State to win this game. It could be a higher scoring game. I keep looking at that score with San Jose State, 37-31. It's an interesting score. NMSU's running game had not been really good this year. Then this Juwan Price gets a little playing time and goes for 159 yards against Hawaii in that most recent game. But if USU's run defense plays like they did last week, that probably won't even be a problem. Winning in the turnovers, again, is going to be important. The team that does that probably wins the game or makes it easier to win it. New Mexico State has forced 17 fumbles, but they only recovered 5 of them. The USU Aggies have a better quarterback, better receivers. They have performed better against a much tougher schedule.
Against some of the same teams.
Yeah, that's true. USU averages 31 points a game. NMSU gives up 39 points a game. So the Aggies win it by 17, something like in the 30s to 21. What would that be? 38-21.
Okay, and just keep the offense crisp like it was last week. We only punted late in the game when we were trying to maybe kind of run out the clock or had to try to pass a few times for third downs that we finally didn't convert. Like you said, don't let their rushing attack get started at all. And when their pass game goes, again, that's the thing. They will pass the ball, and they're going to pass it. They're going to move it. Even Coach Anderson said we're going to have to score some points because they're going to score some points again. We should be okay in this game today. So thank you, Craig, very, very much. And again, we'll have players and coaches' comments on our normal for game day on Saturday. But we do have something really special today. We're going to center in on the much anticipated, though, or much we hope for improved Aggie passing attack. And it certainly happened with Logan Bonner. And again, of course, he's had a chance to throw to, Devin Tompkins quite a bit.
A lot of reassurance. I mean, he's a stud. Like I said before, he plays bigger than he is, and that's what makes him so special. He's a special player in college football, and he's really hard to cover.
Number 2 receiver now for yards in the country, number 6 for catches in the country. Again, what a weapon he is. And developing weapon at the wide receiver spot. We waited for Justin McGriff to have a game like he had last week with almost 100 yards and 6 catches and a touchdown, big play against Hawaii.
I had a pretty good game, but I just stuck with the game plan. I didn't really do anything too much different. Executed my assignment, and the ball just kind of swung my way, and I was just ready for my opportunities that came.
So you'll meet more with Justin McGriff on our pregame coming up. Again, Emmett White, still the NCAA record-setting day for most yards by a player in one game. 21 years ago in all-purpose yarding. 21 years, 2 days ago?
Man, actually leading up to that Saturday, Coach Cole said nothing but this play will work, this play will work. It's kind of one of those things of, and then kind of when the game got started and they actually worked the way he said they were going to.
Emmett's going to talk with Craig Hislop about that day coming up. Bob Coley talks about the offensive coordinator on the Aggie team that day of 2000 in Las Cruces. So it is game day on KVNU. We're also brought to you by Alpine Home Medical, the premier one-stop shop for home medical equipment and service providers. 774-4500. Alpine Home Medical, offering a variety of home medical equipment products and home rental services needs. It's game day on KVNU.
There's no reason to wheeze and sneeze while around dogs and cats. The Allergy Clinic, located in the Cache Valley Hospital and now in Providence next to the Bank of Utah, have an extremely aggressive treatment for dog and cat allergies. Get the help you need and stop avoiding friends and relatives' homes just because of their pets. Independent physicians Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette offer Cache Valley a full-time clinic to test and address all your allergy concerns. Most insurance products, including SelectMed, are accepted. The Cache Valley Allergy Clinic, with 2 locations inside the Cache Valley Hospital and now in Providence. Call 753-7880. That's 753-7880.
It's that first kiss, that moment in time.
This is Jarek from Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Everyone knows us as an engagement ring store, but not everyone knows about everything else we do. Custom design, our in-house laser jewelry repair. We offer fashion jewelry, charm bracelets, necklaces, earrings, birthstone jewelry, watches. We love people to just look and make a wish list. Stop in and say hi.
Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Make it special, make it Jarek's.
My name is John Brenchley. Last year, my father, Lynn, passed away. Our family misses him tremendously. From the first phone call we made to White Pine Funeral Services until he was laid to rest, White Pine helped us every step of the way. The staff was there to guide us through the entire process. They were kind, gracious, and their facilities are amazing. White Pine helped to make the difficult situation of losing my dad into a positive experience where we could remember him and celebrate his life.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
This is Dr. Red, chiropractic physician with Red River Health and Wellness. Are you suffering with fatigue, brain fog, headaches, intestinal issues, weight gain, and you haven't been able to find any answers?
I've constantly been fighting with my weight and thyroid issues for more than 25 years, and none of the doctors in 25 years have ever been able to explain to me what Hashimoto's is, what it means to me, and how to manage it.
Red River Health and Wellness can help you.
Today, my life is like the minute I get out of bed, I hit the ground running. I'm ready to go. I want to see what today is going to bring, what adventures I'm going to have without pain and with all the energy to do everything that I want to do.
Our goal is to teach you and educate you so you know how to manage your condition a lot more effectively and you know what to do and what not to do for the rest of your life. With our satisfaction guarantee, you have nothing to lose.
Call Red River at 855-55-RIVER to schedule an in-depth consultation absolutely free. All appointments can be done remotely by FaceTime, Skype, or phone.
KVNU Game Day returns with the voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis.
We're going to have to score points. They score points and they do it well. We got to go win, and so that's really the goal. It's a game, and we're not even really thinking of it as non-conference or conference. We're just trying to go play better ball and get better, and that's the approach we'll go into it with.
Phil Kruger in 1973, Tony Knapp in 1963, Fred Walker in 1907. They are the only coaches other than Blake Anderson to start a career at Utah State with a 6-2 start. It's an interesting stat. Coach does tell it like it is as our game day continues. Al Lewis here on KVNU, your station for the Aggies for years and years, before and after every game. We've got it. Flow TV, and again, there's links out there on the Twitter where you'll be able to find the game if you can follow those links. And he tells it that New Mexico State, this headman Doug Martin, who he talks about, might not win a lot of games. But his team at 1-7 right now does know how to score about 24 a game and get 280 yards of passing a game.
He just has always done a very good job of making you defend every skilled player. He is willing to run the ball, but he's a get 5 guys out, empty sets, post over swing. I mean, he just does a really good job schematically of utilizing his talent and making it where you have to defend the whole field. Protectionally, at times they struggle, but they make enough plays and slow you down in enough different ways that I think he does a really good job with the talent level that he has. And you've got to be sound. You've got to be sound, and you've got to rush the passer well and make the quarterback uncomfortable, or they'll light you up.
Doug Martin was once 1 year a New Mexico State offensive coordinator, then came back as head coach in 2013. Led them to that bowl game against the Aggies, their first bowl in 57 years. Ironically, both of them against Utah State and both wins against the Aggies. He was a Kent State head coach from 2004 to 2010. So today we need to take advantage of the new MAG defense, and that means a balanced attack of run and pass. Calvin Tyler Jr. is supposed to be ready to come back and help, but Elion Noah has been really good the last 2 games. He had a career high of 111 yards. Remember that very first play of the game against Hawaii, 36 yards.
He's run the ball very very well right now. Very physical nature of how he runs, broke a lot of tackles, and did a great job of extending some of those and getting the extra hard yards. He just gets better with every carry. Very quietly, efficient and effective, powerful runner, which we desperately need right now, and it's going to be extremely important down the stretch. There's going to be some games just like this one, I hope, where we're in the lead and we need to run the ball and run the clock and manage the games, and the ability to run the ball in packed house kind of defensive looks and run the ball physically and break tackles is a skill that we desperately need.
Because the run works and then the pass works so much better. Opponents against them are 67% and get about 14 yards a catch against the Southern Aggies. So, Devin Tompkins should be, again, his normal weapon as he has been this year. 61 catches, over 1,000, almost 1,100 yards now, 6 scores. He's the first Aggie receiver since Kevin Curtis 20 years ago to get to 1,000, and the coach was asked about that after the Hawaii win.
Well, number one, I hope he's just one of many to do it in the future, because I think we're just getting started on what we can do offensively, and clearly we like to spread the ball around. He just is a huge spark plug. His ability to play big for a small guy. He elevated a couple times in one-on-one situations and played above the rim. That's not something everybody can do, especially when you're 5'8". His energy is infectious. His work ethic is unmatched, to be honest with you, on our football team. He is the hardest working player on our football team, offensively speaking, and that makes everybody else around him. So there's a lot of residual benefit from a guy like that, and a guy that loves playing ball. And he is, I think you guys know, he gives you a tremendous amount of confidence. When you put him in a traffic situation or a one-on-one, the guy just finds a way to make the play.
As we've talked about it, again, Grandmaster DT is something. And if there's one area that really has stood out to me as a huge part of the turnaround this year is how the new coaching regime, Anthony Tucker, offensive coordinator, Kyle Suffalo, the passing coordinator, and the wide receiver coach, again, have worked with this offensive or this wide receiver group. And we talked this week about that with wide receiver Justin McGriff.
Well, I just feel it's a trust factor. These guys really trust us. They don't really try to change too much of our game. They kind of let us be good at what we're good at. and, you know, they don't try to change too much. They just really trust us on the field and allow us to grow. So, you know, I feel like that's the biggest thing that helped me is so far as this, you know, just them showing that trust factor in me. They allow me to be out there, allow me to make a mistake and still come back to it the next play and still, you know, still allow me to work. So that's the biggest thing for me. Kind of helps us in the game where we are talked about it or we seen it in practice or we made a mistake here and he comes down and he comes back and fixes that mistake. So, you know, Coach Cefalo, you know, he's just, you know, all around is a good coach. You know, he doesn't do too much. You know, he really lets you be you as a receiver. So, you know, that's what any receiver will want as a coach.
So, as we said, McGriff did have probably his most productive game last week ever as an Aggie against Hawaii. And we've seen Derek Wright have a game, Brandon Bowling, McGriff now is a star to go along with Tompkins. So let's get a little bio, again, on this number 10 player for us, the junior out of Tampa, Florida, Justin McGriff.
Well, I graduated high school at 2018 at Jefferson, Tampa, Florida. Out of high school, I went to Nebraska with Coach Frost and his staff from the past 2018 UCF night. So I went there, redshirted my freshman year, didn't really get a lot of play time within that time. Transferred after that year, 2019, rolled into ASA Miami, a small JUCO in Miami. I got my Utah State offer after my snow game after we played the rival school out here. So I ended up coming here last year, rolling into 2020 into the 1-5 year, and you know I decided to stay after the year. You know I trusted the staff, so you know that's kind of my little bio of how I stayed and ended up here.
So what stands out for sure about Justin? 6'6" size. Has he made enough of that as an advantage so far this year?
I make an advantage I take an advantage from every situation. You know. I mean, some DBs are smaller than me. Some DBs are kind of my height. You know, I don't really see the difference between two. I attack them the same way. So, you know, I take advantage of every situation I'm in. You know, I can't really control what happens outside of, you know, the targets or the number of throws. But the stuff I can control of taking advantage of that, that's why I work on it, handling the most.
I noticed in his written bio, he didn't tell us about it there a few minutes ago, but he did play basketball in high school as a taller guy.
Yeah, you know, I'm pretty smooth at basketball. You know, I'm not sorry. You know, I'm good at it. You know, I can get out there and get some points.
But football's where you should be.
Yeah, football is where I've always had my love at. You know, basketball and track was kind of, you know, it was kind of a way for help me to get better at football. Honestly, that's how I looked at it, so that's why I took it as that.
Justin McGriff, a Florida guy like Tompkins and a senior from Fort Myers, Florida. He is a roommate, again, to DT, and so we had him talk a little bit about him.
DT has the same mindset he has every week. You know, just wants to get better. You know, just want to keep improving. Every little thing he feel like he could work on, that's what we both try to work on. You know, as a receiver group and as a brother, you know. We just try to work on each other, help each other, boost each other up to keep each other better. So, I mean, his mindset don't really change. His mindset is the same. He attacks every week, just like we preach. So
they've been teams have moved the ball through the air against New Mexico State. We hope the Aggies will as well with Justin McGriff and the Aggie wide receiver group for this 2 o'clock kickoff again against New Mexico State coming up on Flow TV if you can find the app. Now it's time for our Know Your Aggies feature. Again, we mentioned Eric Franson's off today, but he still had a chance to sit down with an Aggie, brought to you by My Mattress. There's nothing more important than the quality of your sleep, which certainly improves when you're sleeping on Telebed or Tempur-Pedic mattresses, all available, again, from My Mattress down by the South Walmart.
Let's get to know our Aggies a little better, and specifically Andrew Peasley. Favorite vacation spot for you as a kid?
Ooh, as a kid, definitely the Oregon coast. Yeah, well, my family, we made it like a annual thing to go to the Oregon coast. They got the best like rock candy and Laffy Taffy down there. So, yeah.
Anywhere specific on the Oregon coast?
Lincoln City. It was Lincoln City, yep. And then we'd sometimes go down to like Coos Bay and stuff too. So,
okay, yeah. Beautiful area. Marvel or DC?
That's tough. I'm gonna go DC. I love Marvel, but I'm going to go DC because of the Joker and Batman. So,
okay. Yep. So that would be your favorite comic?
Yeah, for sure. Those are my favorite characters out of all superheroes. So,
okay. What emoji do you use on your phone more than any other?
Probably the white heart emoji. Don't know why. Not a lot of people use it. It's kind of my go-to. Friends, family, girlfriend. All the above. So,
yeah. All right, the white heart. Who is your celebrity crush?
Oh, That's tough. As a kid, it was definitely Jessica Alba. That was my celebrity crush. Yep, for sure.
And today?
I don't really have one. My girlfriend.
You got a crush already. That's
yeah,
okay.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, Andrew Peasley, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
You know, every time I've had a chance to talk to Andrew, I've just loved the guy. And I think the players love him too. And did you see the moments last week? We know he didn't want to make that one pitch badly like he did in the game. And Coach Anderson, there was a shot on TV. It's been out on social media about him with Andrew Peasley's head in kind of in his arms talking to him.
Yeah, I just told him, man, I love him and keep his head up. He was just trying to make a play. Clearly, it's stuff for us to learn from, but he's got a great career ahead of him, and we were going to lift him up. I was really, really encouraged by how many of the guys went over and did the same thing. He's a teammate that everybody loves. He works his tail off. He's earned the right to make a couple mistakes, and he takes it very personally. I just want to let him know that hey, I wasn't giving up on him. He'll get more and more opportunities as his career develops, and I think he has a huge career still ahead of him.
Boy, great stuff from Coach Anderson and from the team, how they reacted to that. So we're moving to non-conference in November today, Coach. It's Utah State football in Las Cruces. Coach Anderson is saying...
I think the challenges have a lot less to do with it being a conference game and way more with just the environment we're going to be stepping into and how we handle it.
And later in this next segment, again, we're going to get safety Monte McGarry going up somewhere along the way, but Craig Hislop with Emmett White on maybe the best game a player's ever had in college football.
You know, granted, I guess I get the glory for it because my name is kind of tagged with it. But, I mean, that day was an amazing offensive day for Utah State football, and especially our offense, as in everybody around contributed.
So it's Emmett White coming up with Craig Hislop in our next segment of Game Day today on KVNU.
This is Bruce Rigby from Cache Valley Bank. People come to me all the time and say, wow, Cache Valley Bank is growing. We are growing and providing banking services to many communities in Utah and particularly here in Cache Valley. Cache Valley Bank is actively involved in our communities with local people who can make decisions quickly and professionally. We're a community bank and Cache Valley is important to us. Cache Valley Bank, growing, expanding, and proud to have our roots firmly planted in Cache Valley. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, this is Rusty Allen with LSS Insurance. There are so many choices when it comes to Medicare. Annual enrollment is October 1st through December 7th. Call LSS Insurance 752-9493. We are here to help. We will research plan benefits and costs and look up your medications so there are no surprises at the pharmacy. There is no cost to work with us and you will love having a local agent. Call 752-9493. Want to get the most out of your Medicare benefits? Come see us at LSS Insurance.
This is Dave Simmons for Les Olson Company. Your team's in the locker room ready to get out there and play to win, but you see a player you don't recognize. They're wearing your jersey and even know your coach's name. But who are they? Would you let this stranger look at your team's playbook? That's exactly how phishing attacks work. In 2020, the number of phishing attacks against businesses doubled compared to the previous year. Don't take risks. Take action with the Les Olson Security Suite. Get your free network assessment at lesolson.com.
Cold weather is here. Let the gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah's Fireplace category help you update your home with Heat and Glow's full line of gas or wood-burning products. Building a new home? Let the professionals at Advanced Fireplace and Stove design and install your fireplace. From traditional to modern, Heat and Glow has something for every design and every budget. Install a product that will allow your family to make memories for years to come. Stop by at their showroom or visit them at advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
The holidays bring family, friends, and parties and more. How important is it to you to know that your house is sparkling clean this holiday season? Trust ChemDry of Northern Utah's hot carbonating extraction process to ensure your home is the cleanest, healthiest environment for your family gatherings this season. From carpets to hardwood floors to furniture and even granite countertops for baking. This is Daryl with Northern Utah ChemDry. Call us for some amazing holiday deals and happy Thanksgiving.
ChemDry of Northern Utah. ChemDry of Northern Utah. 435-752-6100.
The station for Aggie sports. News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Just proud that we all been able to come in and focused on the common goal of to improve last year, and now being able to bowl eligible team has definitely been exciting.
That's number 26, portal transfer from Troy and a COVID sit-out last year, Monte McGarry. We'll have more from him later on our game day, sponsored today by West Point Dairy. Again, West Point Dairy ships butter all over the world. They're hiring now, and they're looking for people who are mechanically inclined or skilled machine operators. Call Express Employment Professionals, 213-9595. Appreciate West Point Dairy being one of our game day sponsors. We mentioned that Calvin Tyler could be back today to play for the Aggies, and Coach Anderson indicated that Jacob South also could return for this non-conference game. Our S.E. Needham Jewelers starting lineup, again, on the front line, again, Edwards, Aliafua, and then mostly Dolphin lately. Doesn't sound like Aulu as coming back, but then White and Moats or South, the tight end, of course, Carson Terrell. And then the wideouts, McGriff and Wright, Devin Tompkins, Brandon Bowling inside, Logan Bonner at quarterback, and Elion Noah would start at running back, we'd have to think, but maybe Tyler today, some there. Defensively, Henniger, Vaughns, Joyner, Bannerman, they've all done very well as outside rushers on the front line. And then Moore and Moa Tupuaka have been more inside lately. We've seen lately playing more as Valkuuta, who has recovered a couple fumbles. And then Justin Rice, A.J. Von Pachong, Kevin Betzenheimer seem to be inside. Both Gilliam and Carter have made plays at striker. In the secondary, Zahadri Jackson has to sit out after that, at least the first half, after the targeting last week. And Juan Yu has played a lot there. Cam Lampkin, Andre Grayson, and then the safeties are Bond, Reynolds, and McGarry, who we will hear from. That's the S.E. Needham starting lineup. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, sign of the clock. Coach Anderson, of course, does have history again with this team. And again, we're playing again a late in the season non-conference game. Coach?
I don't know. You get into conference play and you know, it's win or go home kind of mentality. You just can't afford to make a mistake. And we clearly don't want to give a game up here, but it doesn't have the ramifications of losing a conference game. So I don't know if it relieves some stress on guys' shoulders for a week. I don't know. We really just talk about being 1-0 each week anyway. We haven't talked at all about the conference race. We haven't talked at all about the standings. So it's just another game, another opportunity for us to get better. I don't know that it impacts us a whole heck of a lot. They're used to playing, as underdogs a lot. They're not typically favored. They're okay with that. They're play from behind a lot. They're okay with that, and they'll throw the ball around on you. We struggled with them in the past out there at times when I think we had them outmanned. And it took us well late into the game to kind of get the games under control. And I think that's a lot of credit to how they coach and the environment they create.
Again, that's the coach talking a little bit about New Mexico State, and he goes up against Doug Martin, who he has gone up against before. Martin 1-1 against the Aggies, won that bowl game in Arizona, in Tucson, 6-20 in 2017, and then came here, and Jordan Love's team blasted him 60-13, remember? That next season here in Logan. We mentioned this is the 40th game ever in the series. It is the 6th longest. We have 26 years of conference rivalry with them. We've gone 16-3 in Las Cruces, won 4 of the last 5 in the series, 8 of the last 11. Once we had a 19-game win streak. You know, there was a game that the Aggies played against New Mexico State in 2011. We got off to a 2-5 start, but remember, the last game we won that year in the regular season was a game in Las Cruces, which was our 5th win and got us into a bowl game for the first time in 14 years. And on that team are some of the guys helping coach this team. Jawan Robertson kind of helps on the offensive side. I think it is a little bit with the Aggies, but Al Lapawahu is coaching the defensive line. DJ Tialavea, tight end, was on that team, and Chucky Keaton was the quarterback eventually, of course, of that team. With Adam Kennedy playing mostly at that particular point when we went to that first bowl game 14 years. But all those guys are going back to Las Cruces. We've had 12 players who played the New Mags before. Metzenheimer and Terrell both started the bowl game against them. But we don't have anybody who has played in Las Cruces. Savon Scarver has 2 kickoff returns all time against New Mexico State. So that's something to look forward to today. I remember as a kid the coming out party of Roy Shivers. I never saw a guy play Aggie football at running back like as explosive as he was that 1964 year, 76-0. We beat him in Logan. We clinched 1993 going to the Las Vegas Bowl, Charlie Weatherby's team, with a win at New Mexico State. We had a double overtime win in 1998, but it was 2007 is the day that we want Craig to remember today for us in our Aggie Look Back.
November 4th, 2000, in Las Cruces, New Mexico, Utah State defeated New Mexico State 44-37. In the process, USU running back Emmett White set an NCAA record with 578 all-purpose yards and scored his fourth touchdown with 28 seconds left, the winning touchdown, as it turned out, in a game that was USU's fourth straight win on the way to a 5-6 record in Mick Dennehy's first year as the head coach. And Emmett came to Utah State, by the way, from Ogden's Ben Lomond High School, and he joins us on game day. Emmett, do you have any recollection of feeling like, as you warmed up for that game, that it could turn out to be what it did?
Man, actually leading up to that Saturday, Coach Cole, who was offensive coordinator, man, said nothing but, this play will work, this play will work. It's kind of one of those things of, it's like, Coach, all these plays can't go for what you said they're going to go for. So he kind of really had the vision. And then kind of when the game got started and they actually worked the way he said they were going to.
So Bob Cole, that's interesting.
Yeah.
We remember Bob Cole. I should mention that 322 of those 578 yards were rushing yards, 134 of them were receiving yards, and 122 were on kick returns. Emmett averaged almost 10 yards on every run from scrimmage that night. I would think it would be safe to say at the end of that night you probably had left it all out on the field.
Yes, I would say a little more fatigued than normal, but man, throughout the game, that's just something. I think it's almost your adrenaline just kept pushing me through it.
Emmett went into the game averaging 214 all-purpose yards a game, very respectable number, but then he shattered the previous NCAA record by 143 yards. Previous record by Brian Pruitt of Central Michigan was 435 yards. Do you remember, let's see, it was, did you remember any play that got you going that you thought maybe this really could turn into a game like that when you got off on a long run or something?
You know what? It was a G blast is what it's actually called in that offense. And I just remember Coach Cole was talking about how big the hole would actually be, literally the size to drive a car through. And that phrase is used a lot. But when it happened twice and the hole was that big, I was like, hey, this is actually all coming together.
On the G blast. If I asked you off the top of your head to name those offensive linemen that were blocking for you, could you give any of those names?
Oh, yeah. We had Jeff Shuck, Jim Newton, Jeff Walker or Jim Walker, Jeff Long, and Edward Powell.
Wow, right off the top of your head. And Jose Fuentes was the Aggie quarterback there. What else do you remember about the game and about Jose's work as the quarterback that helped in this, along with the blocking of those guys?
Oh, man, I just remember Jose making, every check flawless. And by no means did I know the checks like Jose, but all the ones he called were the ones I would be thinking in my mind. So, Jose, I want to say Kevin Curtis actually still went for over 100 yards receiving. So it was just a great offensive day for the offense in general.
Emmett was a junior in 2000 and did lead the NCAA at the end of the year, averaging almost 239 all-purpose yards a game. The next year, as a senior, by the way, Emmett goes for over 1,300 rushing yards. There was an early season game in the Aggies season of 2011 that I just learned about. This was a game in Logan. The Aggies going into double overtime against Colorado State. The handoff goes to Robert Turbin as the Aggies try to score 2 points and win in overtime or double overtime. Turbin's driven out of bounds right short of the goal line, and he said after the game, feeling lousy because he didn't score, the first person who came up to him and put his arm around him was Emmett White, who had been through this kind of thing. The two of you must have had a pretty good relationship.
Yes. Me and Turbin had a pretty solid relationship while he was in Logan. He had gotten injured. I don't know if it was I believe it was his junior year. And so, the coach just asked me to speak to him. And really from that day, I can remember it in the weight room, him being on him being on just a stationary bike, going up and introducing myself to him, speaking to him, and then, man, kind of from there, they stayed in contact, talked about a lot of different things, and the relationship was built.
Yeah. Anything else before we let you go about that night that comes to mind as we look to today's game against the same team that you did that against those 20 years ago? Anything else?
Man, not all I can really remember is Coach Cole coming into the locker room after the game saying, hey, do you guys know how big a game that was? And we're honestly just thinking about the win overall, just as a team, being able to pull that out in overtime. And then him talking more statistically. And but everybody contributing. Granted, I guess I get the glory for it years past because my name is kind of tagged with it. But, I mean, that day was an amazing offensive day for Utah State football, and especially our offense, as in everybody around contributed.
Yeah, and that's a great story about Bob Cole telling you during that week that it was going to be that way. It is one of the greatest of the great Aggie football memories, Emmett. I want to thank you for taking time to share it with us. Al, there he is, the great Emmett White.
Boy, one of my all-time favorites for sure. Craig, Aggie fans as well, and Aggie Hall of Famer. All right, more to come. Game Day Keys on Game Day on KVNU as the Aggies play the New Mexico State Aggies. It's brought to you in part by White Pine Funeral Services. That's James Stevens, Mark Thurston at White Pine that have years of experience caring for families with all walks of life, and you can expect the compassionate care, high-intensity, excellent service, and a beautiful facility providing families with a memorable experience when it's really tough. It's whitepinefunerals.com for more. Plus, we do have more, again, from Monte McGarry coming up.
He was the first coach to talk to me out of junior college when he was at Abilene Christian, and then again at Troy, and then again here. He's the first coach to contact me when I entered the transfer portal. So there definitely is a trust factor. It was a big factor into my decision.
So we'll find out more about how he came to Utah State with Ray Brown, who's now the cornerback coach for the Aggies. This is Game Day on KVNU.
If you're thinking about getting engaged this holiday season, S.E. Needham Jewelers is the place to shop for your diamond engagement ring. S.E. Needham's has the largest selection of wedding rings in the area, including hundreds of styles in platinum, white gold, and yellow gold. We import diamonds direct from Antwerp, Belgium, which enables us to guarantee the best price on diamonds. We also offer the most complete warranty and services of any store in the state. Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. Look, I admit in the past, we've been a little bit hard on Lewiston for not buying mattresses. All that has changed now. Lewiston has practically written IntelliBed into their city bylaws. This makes us feel like celebrating. Hooray for Lewiston! You're finally sleeping better, Lewiston. We thought that you were all insomniacs. Now we can relax. Good job, Lewiston. I gotta tell you, though, I am concerned about Mendon. My Mattress by the new Walmart.
I'm here with Jay Broadbent from Alpine Home Medical. Jay, I hear your ads for CPAP resupply all the time. What do I need to do to just get that taken care of?
It's easy. We can set up your CPAP resupply within a few minutes. We'll work out all the insurance for you, and then we'll start mailing the supplies straight to your door. You can even chat with a CPAP specialist online. Just visit us at alpinehomemedical.com. We'll have you sleeping better in no time.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Colonel?
Good morning, sir.
I see you found a way to keep our cannon out of the mud.
Pavers, sir. As a mason, I used to lay them for courtyards and patios.
Brilliant.
Thank you. They hold up beautifully no matter how punishing the conditions.
I can see that. Say, after the war, think you'd be available to pave my patio at Mount Vernon?
Stone pavers from Castellite really catch your eye. Do it yourself with the expert help at Castellite. For all your brick, block, rock, paver, and tile needs, go where the pros go. Castellite.com.
The Aggies are always number one here. It's KVNU Game Day with the voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis.
We took the next step we needed to just kind of control our destiny and where we really ultimately want to be.
That again was the coach after the win against Hawaii, taking the next step, staying at the top of the Mountain Division of the Mountain West Conference. Out of conference today to play New Mexico State, who's gone 0-6, playing teams in our league. Al Lewis here on Game Day on KVNU. And last year, the World Series was at Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas. Well, Army and Air Force played there today. And Army wins in overtime 20-14 in a game where both teams kind of had to throw the ball more to win this game. But a knockdown pass on 4th down and 6 in overtime by Army preserved the win for them. So Army can still win their 4th in the last 5 years, the Commander-in-Chief trophy, if they beat the Naval Academy coming up. That's a bad loss for Air Force. I think they thought they'd win that one. They're 6-3 now. Of course, they still are in our conference, but again, with 2 losses behind the Aggies in conference play. Colorado State and Wyoming are just starting right now on CBS Sports Network. Colorado State's down at the 5-yard line. Later on that channel, Boise State, Fresno State, the Western Division leader at 4-1. That's a 5 o'clock game on CBS Sports Network. UNLV's playing New Mexico. That's at 5. San Jose State's at Nevada, 8 o'clock on FS2 tonight. And San Diego State and Hawaii are playing on FS1 at 9 o'clock in the Mountain West today. Our game is on Flow TV, again, through different providers of TV. You have Flow TV, or there's links out there now on the Twitter and through Facebook that you can probably find to watch that game. If Utah State can slow New Mexico State down offensively, should be a good win for the Aggies. More and more, our defense, it seems like a new star emerges each game. We're talking about Justin Rice a lot early. Nate Henniger has really been good, I think, all year long. But the mainstay on defense every game seems to be somebody different lately, and it's nice to see that Texas transfer, Byron Vaughns, have the game he had last Saturday. We knew he had the goods when he came here, and he showed it. Finally healthy, he said. 2 sacks, a fumble forced, that tip at the goal line when the game's 7-0. Could have been a tie game, 7-7. Tipped it away. Hawaii threatening the Aggies win it. Got the interception, went down and scored again as Cash Gilliam got it. The Aggies were in command after that turnover was forced.
The more turnovers, the more people they can create, more turnovers, the more victories we will have as a team.
That interception last Saturday, the junior transfer, Monte McGarry, had the other interception in the game. How does it really feel to get a pick in a game?
Well, I got a celebration penalty for it, so kind of explained a little bit there. But it's definitely exciting, you know, all the work that you put in. You've seen yourself make that play 1,000 times over out there by yourself or at practice or on a scout team. So to see it all come together and you make the play in the game, everybody's excited, and we all know that it's coming. We prepared for it. So it's definitely a great feeling. And it was my first one, so it's something I'm going to remember.
Monte gave Vaughns and that defensive front so much credit for last Saturday's game. Remember, only 12 yards rushing for Hawaii. That's a key deal today because last time they played against Hawaii, New Mexico State ran for over 200 yards. Constant pressure on the Hawaii Rainbow quarterback was a big deal.
Oh, it's a lot easier. And both positions know that it go hand in hand. When we're covering good, it's easier for them to get to the quarterback. When they get to the quarterback, it's hard for the quarterback to sit there and let the routes develop. So definitely have to credit the line. They did an amazing job last game, and it made it easier on me for sure to get to the ball and make plays when they came my way.
One of the secondary coaches is Ray Brown, and as we talk with McGarry, let's get his story out here on Game Day, and he mentions again that situation with Coach Brown coming here to Utah State.
Okay, I graduated high school in 2016, and I signed and went to play football at South Dakota State. I redshirted a year, played special teams primarily my redshirt freshman year. Decided to enter the transfer portal and ended up going to JUCO route like many guys do. It's coming from FCS program. Earned a scholarship from there, and went to Troy University, where I got hurt my first season, and then I did have a daughter be born while I was there, so I decided to opt out the second year due to COVID concerns. And then once I graduated with my bachelor's degree, and Coach Brown was my corner coach there at Troy, decided to leave and come here, decided to explore my options, and I trusted him and wanted to come here to pursue a master's degree and continue to play.
So it sounds like then your tie with Coach was the big part of you coming to Utah State, really. Is that kind of what happened?
There definitely was a trust factor. He was the first coach to talk to me out of junior college when he was at Abilene Christian, and then again at Troy, and then again here. He's the first coach to contact me when I entered the transfer portal. So there definitely is a trust factor. It was a big factor into my decision.
You mentioned you have a daughter and you've been a lot of different places. What kind of a lifestyle change was this to follow Coach Brown out to Logan?
It's definitely a change coming from Troy, but I am from Omaha, Nebraska, so the weather is not too much different, kind of what I'm used to. And like I said, I went to South Dakota State and I had to stop at Iowa Western. So the weather isn't bad at all, isn't a big change. The time difference, isn't a really big change either. But the scenery definitely is something that we both enjoy, me and my girlfriend, and it's been a fun time to have my daughter out here being able to watch me play.
Okay, going to how the secondary is developed. I mean, are you still playing where you started the year? Are you starting to play other positions, or how is that going on?
Since I've been here, I've primarily been at the field safety, and that's where I've been at a majority of the games. In some packages, I have slid in and played the nickel or slot cornerback, and I've also played outside cornerback in the goal line defense. But primarily, I've been at field safety for majority of the season.
Do you feel like, though, as the year's gone on, this group, talk about how this group has come together?
A big point of emphasis for us is just to execute your job. And I think as the year went on, we started trusting each other more. So I think that's where you see the improvements, trying to eliminate those big plays. For the majority of the game, I think we play together well. We're excited for one another, and we limit the offense and what they can do. But then there's these little critical errors that we have, or big critical errors that we have throughout the game where you see the big plays. And that's kind of where we've been able to improve and been able to start faster, start games, and be able to kind of finish strong and not have it such a close game at the end.
Remember last week, again, Hawaii did pick up that fumble and run one back, but that was really their only big play, 29 yards. Aggies cannot give up big yards to New Mexico State today to let the New Mexico Aggies stay in this game. One final segment of game day is coming up. That's Monte McGarry right there, who, again, has 3 pass breakups, the fumble recovery, now an interception, and, again, goes up against the New Mexico State passing attack today. It's game day.
West Point Dairy Products at Hiram is hiring. West Point Dairy Products has been manufacturing high-quality butter for over 25 years in Cache Valley. They're currently expanding and want you on their growing team. West Point Dairy Products offers competitive wages for entry-level positions starting at $18 per hour, full benefit packages, double time on Sundays, a $2,000 sign-on bonus, and tremendous opportunities for growth. For immediate consideration, call Express Employment Professionals at 435-213-9595.
Advanced Heating and AC is honored to be named gold medalist for the best of Northern Utah in the AC HVAC category. They were named silver medalist for place to work and remodeler contractor. They thank you for your votes of confidence in their company. You have many choices when it comes to your home's heating and air conditioning system. Make sure you choose the gold medal winning company, Advanced Heating and AC. Call 752-7272 or stop by their showroom west of DI. Online at advancedheating-ac.com.
Building, remodeling, Daryl's has the wall oven for you. This is Jay from Daryl's Appliance. We have a great selection of single and double Whirlpool wall ovens in stock right now. Whirlpool wall ovens help you manage mealtime for the whole family. That's at Daryl's, where service always comes first. Daryl's West on Airport Road.
See Daryl's Appliance in beautiful downtown Benson.
The Elements Restaurant is serving a plated Thanksgiving dinner this year with all the holiday classics. Herb roasted turkey breast with a sage turkey gravy, garlic whipped potatoes, and whipped sweet potatoes, traditional cornbread stuffing, and delicious warm rolls. And for dessert, choose between pumpkin pie, pecan pie, or apple pie galette. Let the Elements serve your family a delicious Thanksgiving feast while you spend the day enjoying family and friends. Primetime fills up quickly. Reserve online today at theelementsrestaurant.com or call 750-5171.
Oh yeah, we attack. We don't never downlook a team. We attack every team the same way. We attack practice the same way. Because at the end of the day, we're not only competing against the team. We're competing against ourselves. We try to do our best to get 1 degree better every day. That Coach Anderson preaches. So we attack everybody the same. We don't see anybody different. We don't downgrade our opponent. We don't upgrade our opponent. We look at every opponent the same.
Even though New Mexico State's 1-7 and they've lost all 6 games to conference opponents, that's the approach that Justin McGarry and the Aggies are taking today. Game Day brought to you in part by LSS Insurance. Remember, their webpage is great, lssins.com, for all your insurance needs and information answered. Videos are there. They really can help you with Medicare and when you're turning 65 and getting into new insurance. If you're not covered by insurance this next year, get into a plan where you can get some good help. Again, it's LSS Insurance. So Utah State, again, the 6-2 start, again, for the Aggies is, again, one of the best starts the Aggies have had. They've only had 3 in the last 47 years, or 43 years of Aggie football. So, and again, 2012, 2018 were the ones where we moved on further from 6-2, so we'd like to get to 7-2 today. Taking on New Mexico State at Las Cruces. It's on Flow TV. And on the internet and a couple places in Twitter, I noticed people have links for that, so hopefully you'll be able to see it and watch it today. And then immediately after the game, John Russell and Ryan Boehm should join with me, and we'll have our post-game game day coverage here of the Aggies on KVNU. Aggies about an 18.5-point favorite in the game. 7-7, Wyoming, Colorado State right now. BYU's ahead of Idaho State already 14-0 in their game this afternoon. Utah with that big win last night.
As our world changes, we'll keep you up to date. News Talk KVNU Logan, 102 FM, 610 AM, the voice of Northern Utah.